I was like, I think one of the most important things that people enjoy when going to these events is being around thousands of other people. Seeing other people get excited for stuff, I think makes other people very excited.
Welcome to the Art of Kaizen for Entrepreneurs, growing 1% everyday podcast. Welcome to Kaizen for Entrepreneurs podcast, where we discuss how to grow 1% every day in both business and in life. Today, we have Eric Archraven with Famous Food Festival, an absolute beast when it comes to event promotion and event coordination. Thank you, Eric, for joining us.
Thanks, Kyle, for having me. It's really kind of you. Very, very sweet for that title.
No problem. I mean, I've gone through your website. I've seen some of the back end stuff. We've had a little bit of a conversation, and it seems like you're holding some incredibly large food festivals up in New York, and you have a system there where you seem to be selling these things out. Can you get into your business a little bit more and dive into what have you created? What's the goal of the business? And what I would really like to know, the why. Why did you create something like this?
Why? That's a great question. So we started about 8 years ago with my former partner, who actually had passed away 2 years ago. Really great guy. But we started 8 years ago with the goal of providing businesses that don't necessarily have brick and mortar locations the ability to kind of get their foot in the door with advertising and marketing. We found that there was a ton of micro businesses and a ton of food vendors or food trucks or mobile businesses that really needed that extra kick and that extra push when it comes to marketing or getting some kind of business support initially when they're first building their brand or their company. So we thought, why not creating food festival, create an event to highlight these businesses and to really, push them out to the masses. And we started in Manhattan in, I want to say 2016. And it's just been a snowball effect from there.
That's awesome. So starting in Manhattan with a real goal of helping these small businesses. Now you're talking about people that have, say, food trucks, or they have a ghost kitchen. Is that the type of people you're working with?
Food trucks, ghost kitchens, some restaurants. We are getting into a lot of larger style vendors and companies and whatnot. But we really work with companies all across the board, not just food vendors. We have a ton of sponsors that are part of the event, which make incredible custom activations that really bring to the creative and excitement factor of the event. So there's a ton that gets really incorporated into each event, each festival.
I love that. And your main goal is really to host an event to give these smaller businesses an opportunity to reach out to a new market share. And I'm assuming your main goal behind it would be promoting these events.
Our goal is promotion, logistics, coordinating all basically on site, the marketing beforehand, any custom activations, which is really important. I think that's really what sets us apart from a lot of the other events that go on, is our ability to speak to brands, find out what their initiatives are, and then implement those initiatives into our event and make it an actual valuable experience. Not just for the promotions, but a lot of them get also on-site sales, day of, the feedback, face-to-face feedback. It's incredibly important, especially when you're implementing a new service, a new brand, a new product, anything in that atmosphere.
Eric, you're really talking like a marketer, right? You're talking as someone that's running a marketing agency, but what you're doing is actually helping these businesses by hosting these local events that give you all the data that us marketers really need. Like, why does our customer love or hate the service? What is selling the most? What gives the most interest? What's the most eye-catching? What's my hero product? You're finding all of that out in a single
Absolutely.
event with a category of business that most marketing agencies don't really want to deal with, right? The mom and pop shop that don't want to spend over $1,000 in advertising or $2,000 in advertising is usually the hardest client to deal with, but you're finding it to work. What do you find to be different about what you're doing compared to everyone else trying to help these small businesses?
So that's actually one of my favorite things there is when we bring on some of these mom and pop businesses and they automatically experience such great feedback or let's say sales or signups from the event. And they come to us after the event and they say, listen, we're signing up for the next one. Here's the check right now. And that's one of the greatest feelings is saying, not an I told you so, but like almost like, hey, trust us. We do a fantastic job. We bring a lot of people, and we'll integrate your product or your business, a proper way as it should.
I love that, and really supporting them in a way that's bringing revenue, right? Which is the main goal here,
Correct.
right? You're driving direct revenue with your events. So let's talk a little bit about the event promotion side and what you have to do to get these events out. I mean, it's post-COVID. We went through that time where nobody was going out and seeing people. Now
Yeah,
everyone
tough
seems to be a
time.
little hesitant. Yeah, tough time for sure, especially for a business like yours, right? But now it seems like everyone's searching after things to do. Are you finding it difficult in today's marketing world to host these local events? Are you absolutely crushing it? What does your marketing space look like for these events?
So believe it or not, coming out of COVID, because we were already one of the established events in our community, um, because we're an outdoor event, we were basically one of the only things allowed to go on. Now, as time has passed and a lot more events are starting to take place and whatnot, it does become a little bit of a crowded atmosphere. It's especially in such a market like New York, Long Island, where these are very favorable, high attended markets. You have a ton of events that are going on every weekend, so there is a bit of competition. Um, we like to just make sure that we get in front of people's eyes. We provide a fantastic platform for people to know about us in the future. We text blast, email blast. We follow up on with customers. We ask take surveys. Um, so there's a lot that we do to kind of set ourselves apart from the other events that are taking place, and help us, I guess, leverage the events into
Eric said, that's great. I mean, developing something like this is not only shows you have a level of empathy, but you're using all the bells and whistles any top level marketer would do to host an event to help promote these businesses. And you're doing a great thing, especially in that area where it is extraordinarily competitive. There's major players in that market with high advertising spend. It's hard to break through the noise, and you're breaking through the noise by using events, bringing it together. And like you said, having these special sponsorships or insertions that come in to promote the event even larger. So you're making it great for not just the local community, but also for your clients. But to build something like this, and as we said, you went through COVID, and now it's non-COVID. There was competitive and non-competitive times, and you're in a market now. You obviously have gone through some trials and tribulations to get where you are and to run a successful business. What do you think is the biggest challenge that you face in building this company, and how has it really positioned you to do what you do today?
There's a lot of challenges. I feel every location has its new set of challenges. Majority of the challenges are logistics and making sure that you have a fully laid out run of show and that your timing is on point. You're really impeccable with your meetings, your follow-ups, forms, government aid. There's a ton of stuff that's involved into these events. But I think one of my most recent, largest, I guess, biggest challenges that I faced. My partner passed away about a year ago, and this was a time that really, took a toll on me. He was, a great friend, emotionally and whatnot. But it also forced me to really look at the business more in a compartmentalized way, where I would then go ahead and take, all of our processes and really refine them, because I didn't have that second person. And this is actually when I found really a great value in offshore, like virtual assistant services, offshore, you could say staff and whatnot. They've been really instrumental in building these events and reaching out, and a lot of the back end work. The company I work with is Archraven. Fantastic. They really take a personal touch to every client that they onboard, and it's really the main reason also that we've been able to continue these events, because there isn't a lot of room for budget earlier on. The margins are very slim, and it is a very risky game because you're dealing with weather, you're dealing with a lot of factors that could potentially lose sales. And nowadays, unfortunately, there's the sad threat of terrorist acts and these types of things, and you really have to take all these into accountability. And when it comes down to it, it's very expensive, to produce these events, to bring this to the public, and we have to make sure that we can, cover it, God forbid, in case there's a massive rainout, an act of God, or whatever any of those types of situations. So it is like a fine ecosystem that we have to continue to maintain, and as like is any business, and marketing, of course, is a massive piece. So
yeah, but
try and keep it all together.
The challenge there, it would crack a lot of business owners, right? I have a partner in my company,
absolutely.
and I'm not quite sure what I would do if I lost him, right? There's a lot of operational stuff that are extraordinarily difficult to go through.
Sure.
And if you, I think Russell Brunson says it best, you need two people to run a business. You need the attractive character and the operator, right? And as you said, when you lose a portion of that, you had to go back and compartmentalize and really dive into each part of your business, which is, incredible for you going through that, finding the will to double down and really get granular about what the business is and have that control. So amazing, amazing story, great progression. I love hearing it. Let me ask you this. Where do you think your industry seems to be an evergreen ideology, right? Physical based events that bring people together underneath a common goal. And in this case, it'd be a food festival around food. That seems to be an evergreen ideology. But with, say, AR and VR in the near future and the development of technology, do you see your field changing at all in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's funny. I was recently asked this question just in a meeting not too long ago. And they were saying, is there any way you can kind of take this event and make it more, in the cloud, basically, or make it on, an online kind of experience? And I told them, I was like, I think one of the most important things that people enjoy when going to these events is being around thousands of other people. Seeing other people get excited for stuff, I think makes other people very excited. And having that kind of FOMO feeling, and reaching the event and being able to attend and then, tell other people about it is all part of the experience. So when people say like, with AI, new technologies, perhaps maybe within the interior of the event, maybe making them, smoother as far as, ticket sales or on-event experiences and whatnot, on-site experiences. But I think the festival world is pretty much going to stay the same. Maybe you'll see some new activations that have, technology built in, of course, that's where, they'll get it in front of, people's eyes and whatnot. But I don't really see the atmosphere changing that much. I see events getting better, especially in areas with high competition, just because it's becoming more difficult to survive. You really have to continuously put out a new product, improve your product, make sure that you're staying with the times, and it's just it's an ongoing battle.
As you said, though, I think you hit nail on the head when you said that the one-to-one connections that is created through the festival experience or the event-based experience is not going to die. It's not going anywhere, right? Because
you can't take that away.
Can't take it away. No matter how hard digital tries, no matter how cool VR is, it'll never change the emotional connection that you develop when you go person to person, especially with an ambiance, with music, with things going on. I love that.
Music, the smell, the taste, the standing there, like seeing your food being prepared, seeing how they create it, being able to interact. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future they'll have some kind of flying thing that comes up to your house and you can order, pretend like you're at a festival with music. But I don't think that's the experience people are looking for. And, that's why they come to events. That's why they're so heavily attended.
Eric, truly connecting people, and I love that. I have a Kaizen question. So for the listeners out there, sure. Kaizen, if you don't know the term, it's a Japanese business term that means endless progression in both self and business at a 1% rate every single day that compounds over time to excel who you are as an individual. Eric, you're obviously extremely knowledgeable. You know your stuff. You seem like an absolutely incredible business owner, from understanding logistics to understanding the operations of your business and crossing your T's and dotting your I's through the process of getting these festivals done, which is no easy feat. My question to you is, how do you find your Kaizen? How do you find that ability to improve yourself and your business? What are you doing? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you watching YouTube videos? Do you read a certain magazine? What do you do to improve on a daily basis?
I watch your podcasts. I watch your Sure you do. No, but it's actually a lot of networking. I think it's really important you surround yourself with people who are motivated to really continuously improve. People who are really passionate about what they do. Because anytime you find someone who's passionate about what they do, they don't necessarily, you know, you always have to focus on the money, the financial side of business. But when you find someone who really does it because they love it, you can learn a lot from those people, because those are the people who truly become masters of their craft. And it's because they immerse themselves with it, pretty much all day and night. And those are the people I really enjoy to kind of keep around my circle, my close circle, and continuously bounce ideas off of. And I think that's important. I think that's the most important thing. That, and making sure you really, again, love what you do. Because if you love what you do, you're gonna want to be great at it. It's not gonna feel like a task. It's gonna feel like something enjoyable. You're gonna get a great sense of satisfaction. And again, yeah, I think that's really one of the most important things. Surround yourself with those types of people. Make sure that you're doing something for the right reason, so that you can stay motivated. You can stay interested in keeping up on the top of your game. And me personally, I love food. I've always loved food. I'm a big food guy. I love to eat. I love different kinds of food. I love the background to certain food stories, the culture of food, how, food was created, what's the reasoning for why does this bread look this way? Why are these noodles shaped? And, a lot of it you find, stems from the local regions where the food comes from, the people who made it, a lot of them tend to go back many years. So there's a lot of interesting, stuff out there. And I just love when other people get to experience things that they haven't, or didn't think that it existed, so.
Eric, true
great
food,
things.
true love for people. I mean, I'm hearing through this entire podcast that, you're doing it for the support of the small business, to get people together, to hold festivals and events that bring people and create a connection. And you do it because you love it. You love food, right? I'm a foodie myself. I eat too much food, and I pick too expensive places. I'm not gonna lie. But being a foodie and loving what you do puts you in a position where you care about these events. They're growing, they're developing, you're bringing people together. You're helping these small businesses grow. You're helping the restaurants really find new customers. You're helping the people of the local community find good businesses, and then putting on an event at the same time. I love it, man. I think your mission, your vision, and what you've done with this business is very, very powerful. I have a bonus question.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil.
No problem.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of the book Atlas Shrugged?
What is it?
It's called Atlas Shrugged. It's a massive book. It's like 800 pages long with super fine print, but it has one of the best backgrounds ever. You haven't heard of it?
No.
I recommend you audible it. Reading it is a very, very long process. But anyways, Atlas Shrugged is explaining how people like you, a business owner, people like me, business owners, we take the pressure of the world and we put it on our shoulders. We every single day, instead of doing what's easy and running through a 9-to-5 or doing the basic stuff, we decide to take the pressure of the world and try to move the world a little bit every single day and put that pressure on your shoulders. So my question to you is, what if Atlas Shrugged? What if business owners like me, you, all one day today just said, we're done, and all the businesses disappeared? What would be the first business you would start tomorrow?
Oh, that's a great question. It would probably, could I do the same business?
Yeah. It means you really love it, man. That means you really love it.
I mean, I absolutely, I would choose this over and over again. But there are some other things out there that definitely interest me. I do have other passions and whatnot. That's a great question. I would maybe be a skydive instructor.
Really? Oh man, that's
love
awesome.
skydiving. Love skydiving. I mean, it's something I like to do. I don't know, maybe a flight instructor or a pilot. I love to fly. So ever since I was a kid, I loved all things flying. That's
I can already see it. You're gonna be the guy that's gonna be inventing the drone that comes up to the front door, that does the hibachi, serves people like it's a festival. Eric, I mean, awesome.
Perhaps, maybe.
Awesome. I love it. It's a little bonus question for fun, but it really gives you a perspective of what you want to do in this world, right? When all, as business owners, when all the businesses, we fall into a realm of what we like and what we do, and then what makes us money, right? We find our ikigai, that balance between health, wealth, and happiness. And when we find that, we tend to sit in that rut and love it and enjoy it. But if it all gets erased, your mindset has to say, what would I redo? What would I be able to do? And the fact that the first thing you said is, can I do the same thing, means you absolutely love what you do every single day. And I love to see that.
I do love it.
I do love to see it.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it.
Eric, this is beautiful. I mean, I think what you've created, especially if you guys are listeners, if you guys are in New York City or the Long Island area, you got to check out one of these festivals. I mean, I've gone through the website now. They look amazing. I'm excited. I want to join one myself. If you guys are in that area, make sure you check out the Famous Food Festival. And if you're a restaurant in that area, especially a small restaurant or a small business, if you have a food truck or you have a ghost kitchen, or you're looking to really get into a new consumer base, reach out to Eric here. He's going to help you develop yourself into his next festival and put you in a position to be successful. Eric, how would these people find you? How can people connect with you?
famousfoodfestival.com, or you could just on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, Famous Food Festival. Really anywhere, just type Famous Food Festival into Google. You should be able to see our upcoming events. We have an event upcoming in Long Island in Deer Park, October 11th through the 14th. And then we traditionally host two events here in the Long Island area, and then we will actually be expanding starting next year. So we have some locations that we're mapping out. Should be a very, very exciting time.
Congratulations, man! I love that. I love that.
Thanks,
Eric, Famous Food Festival. Thank you so much for your time, listeners. If you guys have watched all the way through and listened to this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.